Hello, this is Backstreet Nits again with a new tutorial. Sorry. Okay. Hello, it's the Backstreet Nits again with a new tutorial, and this time we're going to continue with this bloody pistol. It's got a whole bloody story behind it, and the story is connected to why it's been so long since I've made a new tutorial. So, I originally made this tutorial a lot earlier in the week, and a lot earlier, 3 weeks ago. Yep, 3 weeks ago. And I'm going to make the hammer now. And I thought it was good. I uploaded it. What I had forgotten is I had paused it halfway through. And when I paused it, we were doing art, and we needed to watch a video on YouTube, so I didn't have to, but I unplugged my speakers, my microphone, so that everyone could hear through the speakers. And doing so caused the sound. That means there wasn't any other recording device, and therefore there was no sound. Yeah. So, luckily, when I realized that no one had viewed my tutorial yet, I was half relieved and half annoyed by that, but anyway. So, I just took it down. And then after that, it wasn't that I couldn't do the tutorial, it's just I really didn't want to. So I'm sorry. Well, kinda. Not particularly. But that's besides the point. At least I'm doing the tutorial now. And at least you're not waiting forever, huh? Okay, so firstly you notice that that hammer is way too big. So I'm gonna select the whole thing. Except for the end. The end's fine. Go to slide view. Scale it on the x-axis. And then to make it a little bit more interesting, we'll select that whole edge loop, hitting Alt and then holding Shift to select the second one as well. Scale it down the x-axis even more, and I'm gonna add one more here, and that should be good. We can leave it on 2 for the moment. Okay, now I'm going to select this part again, and just to make this part here look a bit nicer, I'm going to add a loop up there like that, and the same up here, and the same there. Yeah, okay. Then I'm going to simply, what did I do last time? I'm going to simply deselect everything and just select that part, and extrude it, and right click. No, I'm gonna press I actually. Just bring it in a little bit and make sure it doesn't select outer. and I'm just going to bring that in like so. I'm going to tab it into this one here, this model here, and just add 2 loop cuts. And as I said before, it's been 3 weeks since I've done this, so just need to remember everything I did. Then I'm going to reselect this and shift and reselect that. I'm going to go to side view. I'm going to deselect from here downwards. I'm going to scale that in on the X axis and then scale it here. No, and then press Alt S. Bring it out slightly. Okay. And that looks nice and rounded again. And then that's nice and square ish. And just make it fit as best you can. I just pressed S, Shift, X, S, Shift, Z, F, and then Shift, and then X. Not at the same time. Okay. And that looks fine. And just tweaking. If this wasn't a tutorial, I'd have done this a lot more extensively, but it is, so never mind. I just noticed something. That's interesting. If we hide that, tab, you see that there's this here. I'm going to delete that. And just bring it together. Because you don't want anything like that. That's good. Well, didn't really matter that much, but I don't want it. Okay, next part, I'm going to make this. So, I'm going to tab into edit mode. Yeah, I'll do it on both sides. No, I'm going to change into this. Yeah, okay. I'm going to press P to separate selection. I'm going to select that part. No. Undo that. Selected too much. I'm not going to select the top, there's no need. Okay. Then I'm going to tab back into edit mode, select that, and edge loop. Okay. Now I'm going to go into front view or side view. I'm just going to scale up using scroll wheel up to decide how many edge loops I want. I'm going to design that much. Okay. Now hold down Alt and Shift at the same time and select every second one. Okay. And then you run into that problem. There might be, if there's an even amount of them, then it won't work. Make sure there's an odd. And am I going to actually count all of them to make sure? No. So, come back to you when I got the right amount. Okay, I do have the right amount now. So there we go. Now, once you've done that, just move them out on the x-axis a little bit. If you want, you can move them forward a little bit as well. It would have been nicer with a few more edge loops, but that's okay. I'm going to turn off smooth shading, so make sure it's flat. Now, as you can see, there is a problem that if you look, you can see it through. That won't matter, but that won't matter for the final result, but we're going to solve it anyway. Press E, X, and just bring it into the middle. Same on the bottom. E, X, and bring it into the middle. Okay. And that is fine the way it is. Okay. So we still need to make this part and this part and the safety switch and make that indents there. This we need to put something there. We don't need to. We're not going to leave it blank. And that there. So what are we going to do next? I'm going to do this next. I'm going to go into face select mode. Just like that. Just move it over a little bit. E, S, scale it in, move it roughly into position, and press W, go up to loop tools, click circle, and rotate. No, actually, leave it the way it was. Okay, if you don't have loop tools, just go into user preferences, add-ons, mesh. It wasn't add mesh. It was mesh, and it's there. Loop tools. Actually, I like this one too. I'm just gonna put it on. Apparently, it's quite clever. You don't need this, by the way. I'm just gonna do it anyway. Okay. At this point, I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna continue. Scale it in a little bit, just until it's right enough, and extrude it again inwards, and bring it in a little bit like so. And then I'm gonna add a loop cut around that. Press E, F, okay, it doesn't work the same way I want it to. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo that, scale that out a little bit more, select that again, move it out, and move that up like just a little bit, and then E, S, just move that in a little bit and bring it down like that. So it's a nice place to fit the screw. Obviously you need to turn it off up a couple of times to make it look a bit more neat. You can see it's slightly rectangular. It's not fully circular, but that really doesn't matter. It's such a minor detail. Trust me, no one will notice. And if you think they will, then just add a edge loop like that right through it. Select that. And just select the whole thing. And there you go. It looks better. Well, I'm not going to bother with that. I'm only messing. I think it looks better like that, to be honest. Okay. Now we are going to add UV sphere. Rotate 90 degrees. Scale it down. Wait, that's way too big. Might as well move it into position first. Okay, now Shift S. Of course, it's selected, and just delete it. And erase sphere, make that 12. Make that 12 as well. Okay. Aligned view. And scale it down until it fits. Delete that much of it, move that in a little bit more. Okay, now I am going to select this part. No. How do I do it again? Oh yes, I pressed V. Y. Yeah, Y. And moved it out like that. And just like that. Shifts like that. Okay. That seems fine. But as you can see now, it looks very not circular. That's very simple to solve. Select the whole thing. Hit W, circle, and do that with all of them. Wait. Yeah, turn off regular. Yeah, okay, that's not working. That's not the way I did it as well. Just gonna select the whole thing, scale it down on the y-axis, and just scale it in until it looks pretty good. That's all I did. Okay, now turn this on. Select this whole edge loop of faces and delete it. I'm going to select that and hide it. Tap back into edit mode. Press Control 3. Control numpad 3. And just fill in these faces. Actually, I'm going to add a face the whole way through here like that. And then fill in that face. I'm going to turn this off to make it easier. thing here. Fill it in. Fill it in. Fill it in. Okay. Now we are going to select that edge loop there. Shift, select those, and press E and right click. Yeah, actually no. I'm going to undo that. Get rid of that half. E, right click. And then hold down Shift and right click this here. Then press Alt M at last. And just fill in the missing triangles. Then do the same thing here. Sorry, for a minute I was thinking of something else. Okay, and that looks like a screw. Well, to me anyway. Now, unhide that. Just like that. Move it back into position. Select the whole thing, scale it down on the X-axis. Move it forward on the X-axis. Scale it a little bit smaller. And what I'm also going to do is turn this back on, select all of this and extrude it down like that. Then turn that on. We turn on smooth shading. It looks fine. Okay. Oh yeah. There's two faces we still need to fill in, because since we extruded it, it got rid of them. Just check to see if there's no weird normals. No, what's it under again? Here it is. That seems fine. Okay. So, now we'll make this part here. Actually, firstly I'm just gonna hit Shift S, cursor to selected, and rotate that either in an odd direction, just to give it that extra bit of realism. Sorry if you can hear the noise in the background. Okay, next thing we're going to do, I'm going to tab back into this. And shifts like that. And I'm going to Shift D and B separate selection. Select that part. Move the whole thing in a little bit. And as you can see, the trigger is very, very simple. Just move that back, extrude that forward along the y-axis. Move that up, move that there like that. Going to add a couple of extra edge loops. One there. One there. One there. Move that forward like that. Oh yes, and turn this off. Oh, actually, turn that back on. Just get rid of the faces that we've created in the middle. If you press B and then hold down the middle mouse button, you can just get rid of the other half. Otherwise, hold down B and just select this point here. That works as well. Just X. Faces. Okay. And that's pretty much all we need to do. As you can see, overlapping edges don't look particularly nice, but if you brought this into a game engine, or if you rendered it even, it would look a lot nicer, so it doesn't matter. If we just add, I'm just going to add a plane. Well, actually first I'm going to save. Then I'm going to move the plane here. Rotate it, Shift D. Move that there. And move that there. I'm going to get rid of that. Cycles render. All I did was apply the same material to each thing. I'm gonna press G and now hold down the middle mouse button. No, just click on the middle mouse button and just move that back like that. And then press F12. Okay. Needs a few more lights. Or needs bigger lights. And also, yeah, that should be fine. Okay. Just some little improvements. Sampling. Render, I'll make it 50. Shouldn't take too long to render. There we go. It's still a bit pixelated, but anyway. You can see it's coming together quite nicely. It looks a lot like a pistol. Still a lot of work to do, but it's getting there. So I'm going to select all three of those, hide them. I'm going to select the camera. I'm just going to move it in a little closer. Like that. Render the whole thing again, just one more time. I'll pause it, come back to you. Okay, you can see that looks very nice. You can barely see that. That you really can't see, but with texturing it'll look a lot nicer. This you can see it's a really, really nice effect. It looks really cool. And I don't think much of that. But anyway. Okay. I don't know what you're doing this for, whether it's for a game or whether it's for a film or whether it's for something else. Just, it's important to have decent tutorials. I don't know what I just did there. Anyway. Oh, I'll turn on this. Okay. So next thing we are going to do is we'll make this part here. So to do that we'll make it so that it just sits on top. We don't need to do anything else really. As you can see in this one, in the image, the top's curved. I'm not going to bother with that. If you want, you can change it. It's very easy to change, but I'm not going to bother with that. All I want is an edge loop there, another one there. Press Shift-D, right click P to separate selection like that. Now I'm gonna select that part, move it in quite close. Press E. Scale it on the y-axis. Okay, so move that like that. Do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to select that and move it in quite close. Select those two there. Move it in quite close again and change the vertices. Okay. Gonna select the whole thing, move it up, select it, extrude it downwards, select those and F, add an edge loop through it, and G, Y, hold on, Control, and bring up to there, select the whole thing, remove doubles, one vertex removed. Okay, good. Select the whole back of it like that. Move it back like that. one thing to remember about tutorials is that they're to follow, sometimes they're to copy, but most of the time, well, these types of tutorials anyway, they're so you can watch and you can improve on and make your own version. So you don't need to copy this completely. You can decide what you want to do. I mean, if you like the look of that, smooth, of the whole thing smooth, and keep it that way. If you like it flat, think it looks nicer than that, keep it like that. I think it looks cool flat, but it looks more realistic smooth. That just looks really weird. It looks like clay. Just flattened it out. SX0. Gonna an edge loop. Why can't I add an edge loop on the bottom? Oh. I'm just solving problems here. There we go. Now it looks a lot better. Okay, that looks very, very nice. Even if I do say so myself. Okay. Now, what's next? No, I'll leave that to the end. I'll make that now, because this will be quite interesting. Going to add an edge loop and bring out close to the edge. Not too close, but close. Then I'm gonna press Z. Gonna add an edge loop there. I'm not gonna use that edge loop. I'm just gonna slide this edge loop along and do the same thing here. Okay. Next thing I want to do is select those two, delete faces. Now for some guns this is only on one side, in fact for quite a few guns, but I'm going to make this for two sides for a purpose of time, and for the purpose that this gun could be used from either hand, for left-handers or right-handers, and they might flip it up with their left hand or with their right hand or with their finger or thumb. Anyway, now select that. Yeah, it's straight. Okay. Press Shift D and just move into position. Gonna delete that vertex. Gonna select that there. F. Shift D, Shift X, G, Shift X, hold down Control and bring it up to that like that. Okay. Select that there. Fill that face in and fill that face in, and then just press Control N and it should look fine. One thing I've noticed is I need to bring the whole bottom down just a little bit. So I'm going to select it like that and just move it down and move that down. And I'm going to select that, move that, press G, Z, hold on Control, and bring it down to there. Okay. And that fits a little nicer. No, it doesn't. Going to undo that, because then Actually, never mind. I'm going to redo that. Okay. Select all of that. Move it in a little bit. Okay. There's always something that goes wrong. Anyway, just move the cursor back to the center and add a cube. Scale it down. Yeah, I'll only bring it out to this point. Sorry if I'm not talking much. I was just thinking of the Pirates of the Caribbean in French. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff passes through my head. Press E, F. Just to make that little part there, so it's very simple to just select those and extrude them out. You can select the whole thing, go to front view, scale along the X axis. As you can see, it looks huge. And there's a kind of slight problem Okay, I'm gonna delete that in half. Add mirror modifier. Turn on clipping. I know why that happened, because there was this part, and so when I extruded it out, it became odd. But anyway, bring that in. Add a subsurface modifier. Turn on smooth shading. So now, if we rotate it from there, it doesn't go very nicely. Okay, let's try again. Let's say we wanted to rotate from there, so what was it? Control Alt C, was it? No. Sorry. One sec. Found it. Control Alt Shift C. And set origin to 3D cursor. Oh. Okay, Control Alt select. Now, there we go. So that orange dot there is now there. That's the point we want it to rotate from. There we go. Oh, it's still moving off the 3D cursor, so I'll just do that again. And now I'll press Alt R. So it's a little off the original image, but that's okay. And it fits very nicely. Okay. One thing I am going to do though is just sharpen the edges a little bit. Yeah, it fits a lot better. Whoa. What the hell? Oh. Oh, I know what it is. It's a 3D cursor. Uh, oh no, it's not the 3D cursor, it's the origin. After putting it back to the original place, just click on that place again and press Control Alt Shift C. And that's the problem solved. Okay. Sorry about that, but problems happen. Clear the rotation. Okay, so next thing we need to create is this weird thing here, which serves very little purpose from what I can see. Or, yeah, probably does most likely serves a purpose, but I have no idea what the purpose is. So, didn't mean to do that. I didn't know what Control Alt comma did. Bring it out here. Oops. You can rotate it slightly if you want. However, don't rotate it like this yet. Keep it straight for the moment. Now, it does have an extra part looking at it, the image here. But I'm not going to bother with that. Of course, as I said before, you can if you want, because you can. I'm going to select the whole thing, I'm going to duplicate it and move it here. This is the reason you couldn't change anything, change the rotation. In fact, you shouldn't really have changed the rotation this way either. Doesn't matter anyway. Okay. Now, select that part and hide it. Select all that and delete it. Select all that and extrude it along the x-axis. And just fill in the extra faces. I'll just leave it the way it is for the moment. I'm gonna scale it. Shift Y. That's one of the main reasons why you need to make sure it's still straight. Bring that out to here. For God's sake. matter. Set that to smooth shading. It's a bit weird, but it'll do. It's fine, don't worry about it. You can rotate that now. Okay. That part I'm not going to bother with. The magazine I'll make in the yeah, I'll make that in the next part, or I'll make that in an extra part or something. I'll just make this here now. Another cylinder, 12, triangle fan. Rotate 90 degrees. Scale it in a bit. Move it over here. Scale it on the y-axis. Fit it into position. Scale it out a little bit. I'm going to move it up a little bit, even though that's not according to the image. But as I've said already, that's alright. It doesn't matter. Scale it in a little bit. And I'm going to duplicate that. There we go. However, if you noticed, in most guns, this part stays where it is. Well, it moves back with the slider, but this doesn't. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo all of that. Yeah. I'm gonna select the whole thing. Gonna duplicate it. Right click. Scale it inwards. And then I'm just gonna scale it on the y-axis like that. Select the whole back and just move it in a little bit. You don't need to move it in any more than that. Oh yeah. And just set that to smooth. And it should be fine. Now the bottom part, I'm just gonna hit L. I'm gonna duplicate that. Move that down there. Because we only need that half of it for that. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Again, sorry for not talking much, but what to talk about? The weather was nice yesterday. Terrible today. Typical Irish weather. There you go. You got something to talk about. Now, do you know what I'll do? Just to keep you occupied, I'll talk. Oh. Just to keep you occupied, I'll talk about Irish stereotypes. Everyone thinks they're drunk. Everyone thinks they look like leprechauns, that they're ginger, and that they wear green, and that they always have a pint of Guinness in there. Apart from ginger, I'd say most of that is quite true. Not really. A lot of the population are overweight. That's one thing I'd say. They do drink quite a bit. Yeah, a lot of the population's overweight and drink quite a bit. What else about Irish? They've got terrible accents. Stupid schooling system. Can't take care of their own money. Got idiots in their banks. Okay, there we go. What else about the Irish that are terrible? Everything. Do I like Ireland though? Yes, it's very nice. The weather's terrible, but it's a good country to live in if you can afford it. We can only barely. No, it's actually not that bad. There are a lot more expensive countries to live in. Not many, but a few more. I like Germany. I think Germany's nice. I think they own pretty much most of Europe now, but they're nice, so that's good. I really don't have a lot to say, do I? Just adding the final bits. I'm just making this look nice so it fits well. That's fine there. I mean, you don't need anything particularly special. Those black marks, ignore them. I mean, you turn it this way and it's fine. It's just a rotating. It's just, you're looking at it and the normals are facing that way. So, it doesn't really matter. Okay. Now, just to explain a couple of things. What we're going to do is if you watch my last tutorial, it's going to be very similar. We're going to do that for this thing here, so it looks, if I hide that, same way as this. It's hard to see, but anyway. Okay. Now there's one last thing I'd like to do, is I'd like to stick something here. What though? Do you know what? I won't be able to make any tutorial until probably Monday. And if I don't get one done on Monday, then probably Thursday again. So, considering how things are going, I'm gonna say, you guys, whoever watches this in between then, probably not a lot of people, you guys please tell me what you'd like to see here on this little part. I could just add another square similar to this. I could add some writing or some. Well, writing wouldn't really look that good. Or I could stick a little note or something there, or a little panel saying the name of it using texture, and it's drilled in or something. If you find something interesting, tell me. I'll stick it in. But remember, keep it to the same theme as this gun. It's modern enough, but it's not futuristic at all, and maybe even a little oldish. I'm not a complete expert in guns, to be honest. I know loads of people who are, but I'm not. So, yeah, so tell me what you'd like on it, and that's the tutorial finished for today. I'm just gonna hide that, make it look good, and I'm gonna save that, and thank you for watching.